Do you want to gain more orders and revenue by showcasing your products on ONDC? In this video, I'm going to guide you through the step-by-step process to enable ONDC on your online store. In this tutorial video, you'll learn how to enable ONDC onto your online store, the process of mapping your products to the ONDC categories, and the procedure of adding mandatory information of ONDC to your products. Lastly, you'll also understand how to comply with ONDC mandatory requirement. So let's begin and let's try to understand how to enable ONDC onto your online store. So let's proceed ahead and let's try to understand how can you enable ONDC onto your online store. As a first step, you have to log into the seller panel of your online store. Once you have opened the seller panel, in the left navigation, you have to click on store settings. And after that, you have to click on store details, which will open the store details tab. Here, firstly, you have to click on the address tab. And here you have to review the address that you have added to your online store and also the Google location. You have to ensure both of them are correct. Once you have ensured that both the address and Google location are correct, then you can click on save to update them. And after that, you can click on enable ONDC. Enable ONDC page will open up. On this page, you have to firstly input the GST number, and after that, you have to add your bank account details. You'll have to add your IFSC code, bank name, bank branch, bank account number. You have to re-input your bank account number. You have to specify whether it is a current or saving account, and then you have to input the name associated with the bank account. After that, you have to add the address associated with the bank account. In case it is the same as the store address, you can just click here and you don't have to add the address. Otherwise, you can type the address. After that, you have to review the terms of service for participating in ONDC, and then you have to accept them, enable here, and then click on save and enable, and this will enable ONDC onto your online store. Now let's try to understand how to map your products to ONDC category. As a first step, you have to open the seller panel of your online store. Once you have opened the seller panel, in the left navigation, you have to click on catalog, and after that, you have to click on product, which will open the product interface. Now the category mapping can be done in two ways. One is you can do it manually, one product at a time, and second is you can do it in bulk using an Excel file. So firstly, let's try to understand the manual process, that is one product at a time. To do that, you have to simply click on the edit button adjoining the product, which will open the product edit interface. Here in the basic details tab, you have to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and that's where you'll see a field called add ONDC related details. So that's where you have to click on that, which will reveal two drop downs. Firstly, you'll have to select a category, and then you have to select a subcategory, and then you have to simply click on save. Now in certain categories, especially in groceries, you may also have to add certain additional information. For example, IFSC code. Now one of the three, any one of the three IFSC code has to be provided. You don't have to provide all three of them. Any one of the three has to be added, and then you can click on save. So this is only specific to certain categories in groceries. For other categories, you don't have to provide any other information. You have to just simply select a category and subcategory, and then you have to click on save like this, and the category mapping has been completed. Now you can do it in the same manner with the rest of the products. So this is where you are updating one product at a time. Now let's understand the bulk process. For that, you have to go back again to the product interface. Here you'll have to firstly click on this option, download products. But before doing this activity, please at least update one product manually, and that's where the ONDC mandatory fields will get added to the Excel file. I'm repeating this once again. So please do this ONDC category mapping activity manually with one product, and after that you can come here and click on download products, which will download an Excel file onto your device. This is the Excel file which will get downloaded. It will have ONDC category and subcategory columns to the extreme right side of the file. But here the point to remember or keep in mind is that the parent category is here and the subcategory is here. So don't mix them. And all you have to do is to just copy paste or populate these columns. Save this file and go back to the seller panel. On the seller panel, click on this option, update products and upload this file, and the ONDC category will get mapped to your products. So now let's try to understand how to add ONDC mandatory information to your products. As the first step, you have to open the seller panel of your online store. Once you have opened the seller panel, in the left navigation, you have to click on catalog, and after that, you have to click on products, which will open the product interface on your online store. Similar to how we have mapped the products to the ONDC category, this can also be done in two ways. One is you can add the ONDC mandatory information to products manually, one product at a time, or it can be added in bulk using the Excel file. So first, let's try to understand the manual process, that is one product at a time. So we have to again click on the edit button, which will open this interface. This time we have to click on the price and variant tab, and here we have to click on the edit icon, which will open this overlay. On this overlay, again we have to scroll down, and again there is a field called add ONDC related details. You have to click on that, and then you have to input the information such as manufacturer or packer name, manufacturer or packer address, month and year of manufacturer, and net quantity. For most of the product, it will be 1 unit for net quantity, but if it is a combo or a combination of multiple products, it can be a higher value or a different value as well. Here the point to remember is that you have to add the manufacturer or packer name, not your address and name. So once you have added all this information, click on save, and the ONDC mandatory information is added. So this is the manual process or one product at a time process. If you have a smaller catalog, then you can use this process to update the ONDC mandatory information. Now let's understand how you can update this information in bulk using the Excel file. Before trying to update ONDC mandatory information in bulk, you should update at least one product using the manual process which I have just explained, and then you should download this file. You should not download this file until you have updated at least one product manually. Once you have updated a product manually, then you can come here and you can click on the option download CSV. This file will get downloaded onto your device. On this file, you have to scroll to the extreme right side of the file. That's where you'll see the columns for manufacturer or packer name, manufacturer or packer address, month or year of manufacturer, and net quantity. So you have to populate the information into these columns and then save this file. After saving this file, navigate back to the seller panel. On the seller panel, click on bulk edit CSV and upload this file. This way, you will be able to add ONDC mandatory information to your products in bulk. Now let's understand how can you comply with the other ONDC mandatory requirement. But before we do that, let's first understand what are the ONDC mandatory requirements. So these are the ONDC mandatory requirements. The first one is product inventory should be more than or equal to 5 units. Now this is a very simple rule, but how do you check whether your inventory is greater than 5 or not? So it is very simple. Let's understand. On the product section of your seller panel, you can use the search capability. You can click on advanced search. It will expand, and this is where you can specify 5 less than 5 and click on search, and it will shortlist or show you the products that have less than 5 units of inventory. After you have identified the product with low inventory, you have to just click on the product title, and then you have to click on edit, which will open this overlay. On this overlay, you have to just scroll down, and that's where you'll see the stock of the product. To add stock, you can click on add stock button, type in the number of units you would want to add, then click on save, and the stock will get updated. After you have updated the stock, you have to just scroll down and click on save, and the stock will get updated. This is the manual process. You'll have to update the stock one product at a time. Now you can also do this activity in bulk. To do that, you have to download this file. You have to click on download CSV, which will download an Excel file onto your device. This is the Excel file which will get downloaded onto your device. On this Excel file, you have to use this column, which is titled as quantity, to understand which are the products that have less than 5 units of inventory. Once you have updated the inventory, you can just save this file and then go back to the seller panel. On the seller panel, you can click on bulk edit CSV and then upload this file. This way, you will be able to update inventory of your products in bulk using the Excel file. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that at least one image is added to the products on your online store. Now, one of the most convenient way in which you can check is you can just go to the front end of your online store and open all the category pages and review whether images are added to the products or not. Now, this can also be checked from the seller panel. Let's quickly understand. The product image check can be done in two ways. One is you can review it manually, one product at a time, or you can do it in bulk. First, let's understand the manual process. For that, you have to click on the product edit tab. And here, if you have added product images to the variant, you can go to price and variant and you can click on edit. And that's where you can see the images which are added, or you can go to the images section. In case you are not finding the images there, then you can click on the images tab. And this is where you can see the images that you have added to the product. So this is the manual process where you'll be checking one product at a time. There is a bulk process also available. To do that, you have to download this file using the download CSV option, which will download an Excel file. This is the file which will get downloaded onto your device. On this file, you have to scroll towards the right side, and that's where you'll see the columns with the title variant image, cover image, and variant images. There are two columns, and in these columns, you'll find the image URLs. However, the point to be noted is that these image URLs will only be populated if you have added images to the variants. Otherwise, these columns will be blank. If you have added images to the variants, that's where you can come here and you can check whether you have added images or not. In case you have not added image to any of the product, the corresponding cell will be blank. So all you have to do is to ensure that you have added the images, and this is the bulk process using which you can quickly check whether you have added images to the products for displaying them on ONDC or not. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is that the summary description of your product should be greater than 60 characters. Yes, it is 60 characters, not 60 words. You have to just ensure that it is greater than or equal to 60 characters. Now let's understand how can you check that the description of your product is equal to or greater than 60 characters. The most convenient way to check this information is to download the download product file. Once this file is downloaded, open this file. This is the file which will get downloaded. Now here you'll see there is this column for summary description. Now all you have to do is to apply a simple formula in Excel, which is len, and then give the reference to the summary column, and it will show you how many characters are there in the description. So very simply, within few minutes, you'll be able to understand or identify the products that have short description, and then you can work on updating the description. Once you have updated the description in this file, you can save this file and then you can go back to the seller panel. On the seller panel, click on update products to upload this file, and the description will get updated. This way you will be able to identify as well as update the descriptions of the products on your online store. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that the product price is greater than 0. Now let's quickly understand how you can identify such products and update them. The easiest and the quickest way to ensure that none of your products have 0 or below 0 pricing is using the bulk inventory update file. To download that file, you have to click on this option, download CSV, which will download an Excel file onto your device. This is the file which will get downloaded on your device. And here you have to refer to the column which is titled as selling price. In this column, you have to just ensure that none of the products have a price which is equal to 0 or below 0. And once you have made the required changes, save this file, and then you can go back to the seller panel to upload the file. After saving the file, you can come here, click on bulk edit CSV to upload this file. And this way you will be able to update the price of all the products which are there on your online store and ensure that none of your products have a 0 or below 0 pricing. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that the type of your product is checkout and it is not inquiry. Now let's quickly understand how you can check and ensure that the type of your product is checkout. The easiest and the quickest way to ensure that product type checkout is selected for all your product is using the download product file. You can click here to download the product file, and once this file is downloaded, save this file on your device and open it. This is the file which will get downloaded on your device. Here we have a column called product type. This is that column, and here you have to ensure that the type of the product is checkout. If it is inquiry, then the product will not be displayed. It will not be visible on ONDC. So you have to ensure that the product type is checkout. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that the minimum order quantity specified in all your product is 1 and not greater than 1. Yes, it is important that you should ensure that the minimum order quantity should be equal to 1. If it is greater than 1, then your products will not be displayed on ONDC. Now let's quickly check how can you ensure that the minimum order quantity of the product is equal to 1. In order to check the minimum order quantity of the products that you have on your online store, you have to just click on the product title, and then you have to click on edit, which will open this overlay. Here you'll see MOQ, and you have to look at the value which is specified in this column. So it should be either 1 or it should be blank. If it is a value which is greater than 1, that is where the products will not be displayed on ONDC. So you have to ensure that either this is blank or it is 1. And it is better that you should specify 1 here. And once you have updated this value, you can just scroll down and click on save, and that will update the MOQ value of the products on your online store. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that the visibility type of your product is either B2C or it is both. If it is B2B, then your products will not be displayed on the ONDC network. Now let's quickly understand how can you review and understand what is the visibility type of the products on your online store. The easiest and the quickest way to understand the product visibility type selected for the products on your online store is using this file, download products. You can click on it and an Excel file will get downloaded on your device. Once the file is downloaded, open that file. This is the file which will get downloaded. Here you have to refer to the column which is titled as visibility. In this column, you have to ensure that the visibility type is either B2C or both. So if it is B2B, in that case, the product will not be displayed on the ONDC network. So it has to be either B2C or it has to be both. Only in these two scenarios, the products will be displayed on ONDC network. If it is B2B, then the products will not be displayed on the ONDC network. Once you have made the required changes in the file, save this file, go back to the seller panel. On the seller panel, click on update products and upload this file, and the visibility type of the products will get updated. So this is how you can review and ensure that the product visibility type on your online store is either B2C or both. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to ensure that customization is not enabled on any of your product. If customization is enabled, then those products will not be displayed on the ONDC network. Now, what is a customization? So customization is basically an optional feature which can be enabled on the product, and it allows you to seek certain information from the customer. For example, for a gifting item, you would want to seek the message that is to be printed on the product or the image that has to be printed on the product. That is the customization feature. You have to ensure that feature is not enabled. Otherwise, the products on which customization is enabled will not be displayed on the ONDC network. The next ONDC mandatory requirement is to enable integrated logistic on your online store. Let's quickly understand how you can enable integrated logistic on your online store. On the seller panel of your online store, in the left navigation, click on Store Settings, and after that, click on Shipping, and then click on Courier Services, which will open the Courier Services tab. This is where you have to ensure that at least one integrated logistic is enabled on your online store. How to enable a particular service, we have embedded the tutorial contents here. So you can review the tutorial content and then enable at least one of the integrated logistic. Once these integrated logistics are enabled on your online store, then your products will start appearing on the ONDC network. In this tutorial video, you have learned how to enable ONDC onto your online store and also how to comply with the ONDC mandatory requirement. However, still, if you have a question, if you need assistance, you can feel free to connect with us on this number and email ID. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I hope you found this video informative.